More trouble may be on the way in the Gulf of Mexico. The first storm of the hurricane season may enter the Gulf next week, and that could disrupt BP's cleanup efforts. Matt Rogers is with us now. He is president of the Commodity Weather Group. It helps companies manage their weather risk. He is joining us now from Washington. Matt, glad to have you on with us. What is the likelihood that we see a hurricane in the Gulf, say, in the next 2 to 3 weeks?
I think it's still a low likelihood at this time, but we are seeing an emerging threat that we're monitoring very closely right now. There's a big cluster of thunderstorms in the central Caribbean this morning that is gradually drifting westward, and there are some weather models suggesting it could enter the Gulf of Mexico next week and approach the oil spill area by mid to late next week.
Matt, I heard you say you're monitoring the system now. When will you know if it's a serious threat or not?
I think it's probably going to come at some point this weekend or by Monday. As you know, hurricanes are notoriously difficult to forecast, and it's particularly difficult when you're this point in the season when you don't really have a named storm yet. So my thinking is by the weekend we should have a better handle on this.
Matt, you just alluded to the fact that we are early in the season. Usually the earlier storms are not as strong as the ones that we could see in August or September. So is this something that people who are working hard in the Gulf on this cleanup effort can hope for, that even if a hurricane comes, it will be relatively low level?
Yeah, that's potentially good news. We haven't had a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico in the month of June since 1995. So they're very difficult to get hurricanes this early in the season due to issues such as wind shear that tends to be more active following the spring. So yeah, that could be potentially good news. It could diminish the strength of this possible storm next week.
And Matt, what kinds of swells could we see? Give us a best case scenario and a worst case scenario. I know it's hard to predict all factors, but obviously this is something that would severely affect the cleanup effort.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, right now the weather model range is very large. It extends from the storm just staying down in Mexico, not coming up into the northern Gulf, all the way to heading right into the middle of the oil spill area with very high swells in such a way that that tanker sitting over that oil, gushing oil, might not be able to stay there. So definitely everything's on the table at this early stage.
So if we do see a hurricane, you feel like the gush could even get worse?
Well, if they have to move the tanker away, yeah, it probably would at that point.
All right, Matt, we thank you so much for your time. Matt Rogers joining us there. He is the president of the Commodity Weather Group. He is joining us there from D.C.